About 700 Marines have been mobilized as California vows to sue the Trump administration. I think we all saw that coming here. Right. The reality of I think this scenario is that California, specifically LAPD, is pretty much known for being able to handle a good old riot. Riot, let's say here, guys. Um, because think about it, the population generally is always upset about something. Always get super emotional about something. So what do? They go out and destroy their own property. Right? They destroy their own public property and all the local businesses in their area. That's what they do. So now imagine if the LAPD is pretty much, really good at stopping and quelling these things. Uh, there's really no reason to send the National Guard in, and specifically federalizing the National Guard. I don't really see that. I see how things can get better. I mean, I get it. You don't want things happening. Referring to Trump, at least, Trump does not want things happening within the country. But I think this may have been a bit much, guys. And then to obviously hear that now 700 Marines are being deployed. Oh, it's tricky, guys. Okay. I mean, I'm guessing he's doing this under some type of like insurrection or like maybe again the Alien Enemies Act type of scenario. You're basically saying that these individuals are going to be the big T word or something like that. And this is the reason why they are having to, send out our troops, specifically the troops that should not be functioning on U.S. soil. It definitely sets a terrible precedent, guys. Because think about this here, guys. The Republicans are not always going to be in office. Okay, and the fact that this was the fact that this is happening, it just means that once Trump is out of office and Republicans and Democrats basically fix their stuff, if that ever even has the ability to occur, right? If they can fix their man issue, let's say, then maybe, just maybe, this will be used against people who do not specifically adhere to the ideology coming from the Femocrat Party, guys. You get what I mean here, guys? I don't know. Just a thought. Let's jump into it. Let's see where this takes us, guys. Let's do it. Let's do it.
CNN that more than 700 U.S. Marines, more than 700 U.S. Marines have been mobilized to respond to protests in Los Angeles, some of which turned over the weekend. One county official called last night, quote, probably one of the most volatile nights in the city's recent history. Police declared all of downtown Los Angeles, an area of about 5 square miles, an unlawful assembly area,
right,
after a third night of protests turned. The Los Angeles police chief late last night saying, quote, this that I've seen is disgusting, unquote. Some of the protesters, or more accurately, rioters,
yeah, they're rioters,
commercial-grade fireworks at law enforcement officers. Others set self-driving cars on fire. CNN witnessed police using flashbangs and tear gas to disperse crowds. Police arrested 27 people just yesterday alone. All of this started on Friday. That's when Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, conducted workplace raids in L.A. The Department of Homeland Security said operations in L.A. last week resulted in the arrest of 118 undocumented immigrants, including 5 gang members. The roots of this aggressive ICE activity last week may have been seen last month when top Trump aide Stephen Miller, sources tell CNN, demanded that immigration agents ramp up deportation efforts and seek to arrest 3,000
a day
undocumented immigrants a day. 3,000, that's triple the number of daily arrests from the early days of Trump's term. In response to the ICE action in LA on Friday, some protesters began gathering outside the Metropolitan Detention Center. But as day turned to night, things got out of hand, not only downtown,
guys, hold on,
but
hold
about
on,
10
hold on.
miles east in Paramount, California.
Guys, the issue is that definitely at nighttime is when things get, very troubling, let's say. Like, if the protests were this is completely fine. And listen, guys, you're well within your rights, absolutely, to do this exact thing. And I don't think anyone that is, a moderate constitutionalist would have any issues with this. Bro, do your thing. But the other aspects of what we're encountering, specifically, on the streets and on the highways, that's absolutely not conducive to your argument, bro.
Began gathering outside the Metropolitan Detention Center. But as day turned to night, things got out of hand, not only downtown, but about 10 miles east in Paramount, California.
Yeah, that's where things are popping off, guys.
Protesters moved in on them, and officers used flashbangs to disperse the crowd. The FBI's Los Angeles field office announced a $50,000 reward for information on a man that the LAPD says assaulted an officer and damaged property. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass said ICE gave city officials no warnings of these raids.
Why would they? Like, I mean, listen. California basically is a, it's a hostile nation state that's a part of our union. That's basically what it is here. When I say hostile towards the federal government, and they generally are consistently that, unless they have someone that they can basically match ideologies with specifically. Yeah, if you are outside of their echo chamber, they have no interest in whatever you're doing, and they're going to absolutely sabotage it. So with that being said, why exactly would ICE, of all organizations, why would ICE specifically speak to Karen Bass or Gavin Newsom about anything that they're about to do, bro? Why would they? Because they're the type to legitimately tell everyone. Okay, then what happens, guys? Nothing.
Which made it difficult, if not impossible, to plan for quelling any spontaneous protests. Then on Saturday, President Trump took the rare, major step of deploying the California National Guard despite the objections of the Democratic governor of California, Gavin Newsom. This was the first time a president called in the National Guard without a state's request or consent since Lyndon Johnson did it in 1965.
Yeah, the civil rights. Yeah, like if you match it like line for line on what happened here, guys, yeah, it definitely goes back to the civil rights. Absolutely, guys, completely. You overrode the governor.
President Trump yesterday told reporters that any against any law enforcement officers is unacceptable.
I have a little statement. They say they spit, we hit. And I told them, nobody's going to spit on our police officers. Nobody's going to spit on our military, which they do as a common thing.
Yeah, that's a felony, though, right? So obviously that is a felony. Guys, arrest them. I mean, I would not say that you need to, specifically assault people, right? Definitely do not do anything like that. But if they, are committing a felony, then they obviously should be put in jail.
Trump offended there by the notion of spitting on police officers or military while protesting immigration enforcement. He says that's not okay. We would be remiss if we did not point out that it was just 4 months ago that the very same president pardoned a different group for police officers while storming the U.S. Capitol to object to the 2020 election results. You will never hear Trump or top deputy Stephen Miller call that attack on January 6, 2021 an insurrection, but Stephen Miller did use that term to describe the protests in Los Angeles, calling
Yeah, guys, they absolutely both were, period. But all right.
an insurrection. But Stephen Miller did
this
use
one
that
is,
term
that
to
one
describe
is,
the protests
period.
in Los Angeles, calling it, quote, an insurrection against the laws and sovereignty of the United States. There are quite a few, shall we call them, evolving positions taken by Democrats and Republicans since a year ago, when some Democrats were urging President Biden to federalize the National Guard in Texas to stop that state's Republican governor's anti-immigration, illegal immigration efforts. And the woman who is now our Homeland Security Secretary, then South Dakota Governor Kristi Rome, took to MAGA media and to Twitter to say, quote, if Joe Biden federalizes the National Guard, that would direct attack on states' rights, unquote. But be that as it may, we are where we are here, and Republicans would argue that Democrats have played a role.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I wouldn't say that that's actually the same exact thing. But I see where you're going with this. That would have definitely gone against the states' rights, in fact, of Texas. Just like Trump did go against the states' rights of California by specifically federalizing the National Guard. That's a fact here. These are not facts. I mean, these are not facts, guys. You get what I'm saying here? Jeez.
In all of this, by not enforcing immigration laws for decades, setting the stage for President Trump to begin this aggressive pattern of deportations, which he ran and won on.
Of course
he
did.
A new CBS News poll taken before the ICE action in Los Angeles finds that 55% of the Americans polled approve of the goal.
Wait, where's this poll coming from? Hold on, guys.
Which he ran and won on. A new CBS News poll taken before the ICE action in Los Angeles finds that
CBS.
55% of the Americans polled approve of the goals of Trump's deportation program, but
Okay.
56% are not sold on the approach he is using to carry it out. CNN's
Yes, guys, everything in me says that if you would have done that same poll on CNN.com, you would have gotten the same exact response. The reality of the situation is that, guys, all of these news networks are biased, and if you are actually going to do some type of like quick poll for some reason, right, you'll want to make it so the sample size is not biased to begin with. Let's just be honest here, because and again, if you poll Fox News, it will be massively different. Okay, or like News Nation, massively different. Okay, so if you start with a biased source already, these numbers don't surprise me, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and disregard this poll.
Young Law is on the ground in Los Angeles for us now with all the latest on how Governor Newsom today is firing back against Trump's actions.
They come for one.
Calm following chaos in downtown Los Angeles. A peaceful protest not far from LA's City Hall. And a strong police presence near the federal building. All of downtown has been declared an unlawful assembly area. After hundreds of protesters took to the streets in this part of the city, clashing with local law enforcement and the National Guard. The protests sparked by local immigration raids like this one unfolding across Los Angeles.
That's f***ed up, look.
Witnesses too afraid to speak on camera watch and film as Immigration and Customs Enforcement arrested street vendors at gunpoint. Outside the LA Coliseum, the site of the Olympic Games that will be held here, some protesters pushing back against these raids on Sunday, burning cars, defacing buildings. National Guard troops fired back, blasting tear gas and pepper spray. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass blaming the unrest squarely on the Trump administration.
If immigration raids had not happened here, we would not have the disorder that went on last night.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I'm surprised she's even there. I mean, she's generally off in some exotic locations when things are happening.
Saying the unrest escalated after hundreds of California National Guard troops arrived on scene Sunday, deployed by President Donald Trump, overriding city and state leaders. California Governor Gavin Newsom saying in a post the president flamed the fires and illegally acted to federalize the National Guard.
I definitely would not say illegally acted. He has the ability to, so it's legal in that context here. He did absolutely supersede your, your position. He definitely did that here. Let me see. He fanned the flame. Yeah, he did that. I'm telling you, guys, LAPD. This is California we're talking about, bro. These are the bleeding hearts, let's say, of the United States of America. Them, Oregon, Washington, they're basically all the same. And so the problem is, guys, all right? The problem is they're used to these protests, these emotional protests. They're used to it. So I think personally, they have the ability to handle it themselves. Okay. Now, are they taking a long time to do it? Yeah, they took apparently too long for Trump, and Trump said, "No, I don't care about your rights anymore." Now, I don't know how that's going to work, constitutionally in the long run, but at least for the moment, the National Guard is in fact there, and the Marines are also heading there now too, guys. But we shall see how this unfolds.
California's Attorney General added the state plans to file suit over the order to send in the troops.
They did so without authorization from Governor Newsom and against the wishes of local law enforcement who were on the ground.
It felt like fuel for a fire that was unnecessary. It was 100 people. 27 people were arrested.
Okay.
There wasn't a reason for this. That is the
were they here illegally? Why are we disregarding the facts here? Right? Were they in the United States of America illegally? If that was the case and that was the reason why they're there, why are we playing games?
concern.
Trump posting that he made a great decision sending in the Guard, saying otherwise Los Angeles would be completely obliterated.
The people that are causing the problem are professional agitators, they're insurrectionists.
And what you're looking at live is this crowd. This is a new protest that has sprung up in just the last hour or so, and it is on the move in Los Angeles. We are in downtown Los Angeles. We're walking with this crowd, and something that I want to point out, Jake, is that this is a very different crowd than the one you just saw in my story. The group that
Okay.
you saw in my story was a union-led protest, a mix of people who are familiar faces in Los Angeles, union leaders, older people, families. This group that's on the walk, definitely not that. So the question will be is what is law enforcement going to do now as this group is starting to walk and move through Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles, with a goal that I can't quite ascertain from the walk.
Bro, it's just random. They want to be outside. It's hot. I think that's just what it is. I think they want to be outside, beautiful weather, and they just want to feel like they're doing something for their hashtag activism and social media. That's what this is, guys. All right. Let's just be completely honest, right? Immediately. That's what this is.
That we're looking at. But it's a sizable crowd, as you can see.
Yeah, it's
All right, Kyung La, thank you so much.
gigantic
Appreciate it.
amount of
Kyung La
people.
on the streets of
And I don't see a single American flag.
Los Angeles. With us now, Democratic Congresswoman Nanette Berrigan of California. Her district, in her congressional district, includes a community of Paramount, which is just south of Los Angeles. Some protests flared up in Paramount this weekend. Congresswoman, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. So yesterday, you spoke with CNN's Dana Bash on State of the Union. You acknowledged that not all the demonstrators have been peaceful, and you said, quote, "Those are not the people that are coming out to protest immigration." So who do you think the people who are not peaceful are?
Please.
Are they outside agitators, as President Trump says?
They definitely could be. We've certainly heard some could be anarchists, people who are looking for trouble. People are just, in the evenings looking for some trouble to make. So I don't think those are the people that are out to protest the mass deportations. And that's what you're seeing. You're seeing people angry that you're having mass deportations happening in Los Angeles after months of seeing this administration send ICE agents to hospitals to wait for women to have labor, sitting there in the labor department to separate their kid and try to deport the mother, to schools to take kids. And of course now, just rounding up people. There is no...
She's trying to pull at your heartstrings, guys. It doesn't change the fact that the person most likely came to the United States of America while pregnant, specifically to have a baby in an American hospital. Like you're disregarding the facts here. You're trying to pull at heartstrings. They don't exist in this context here, guys. Sorry. That person specifically came to the United States of America for that reason, right? To take advantage of the United States of America. Okay. But okay.
targeted enforcement. We know they're going to like Home Depot lots to look for people who are looking for jobs. They're not
Listen? Okay, we're just gonna let her talk.
criminals, and that is the outrage that you're seeing. And
They're
I
not-
think
oh,
that
jeez, guys.
if ICE left, I
California.
think if the National Guard left, you would see this all die down. There is a way to do immigration enforcement. It's been done before.
Okay, hold on,
This
guys.
is just the president's way to escalate things, to cause
may have changed my
tension,
mind.
And I think really to distract what's happening in Washington on all the failures, whether it's the economy tanking, whether prices going up, whether the millions he's going to take away from healthcare. This is the master in a show, and this is what he wanted.
I want to get to that in a second, but just in point of fact, you said they're not criminals. If somebody from the Trump administration were here, they'd say they may not be criminals, but if
Right.
they're in this country illegally, they're criminals. You say that deportations can be done or immigration enforcement can be done peacefully. What's the way to do it peacefully if not raiding places where undocumented folks are? I mean, the position of the Trump administration.
I'm surprised these questions are actually hard hitting. What is happening with CNN lately, guys? I want to know because this is odd.
Would be if you're not in this country legally, you shouldn't be in this country. I mean, that's what they would argue.
It's so, and this is a misconception
Of
that
what?
if you're in this country legally, that you're a criminal because it's a civil matter. It's not a criminal matter.
In fact, she's right here. It is definitely a civil matter. Up until they decide not to go to court and they get a bench warrant put out for them. Basically, a deportation order put out for them, and then they disregard that deportation order. You're talking about civil matters here. But okay. Can I move to your house? Can I step onto your land? Your specific. I want to move. Matter of fact, I'm gonna move into your house. You're gonna go ahead and take care of me. You're not gonna get me out. You can call it a civil matter. I guess that is kind of a civil matter. Wait a second. Hold on. I think that is a civil matter. Like squatters. They're squatters. That is kind of a civil matter. Doesn't change my opinion though.
But there's a way to go after people. We've been doing this forever, and that is
The initial
know
trespass
where
is
the
a
serious
trespass.
criminal offenders are, and they send folks out to get them. They don't just go massively round up people.
Sources.
Okay. Listening to this woman speak here at the end, I now immediately fully understand why so much pressure is being put on California. Like if she is indicative, her, Karen Bass, and Gavin Newsom, I guess they are indicative of the culture there. They're not going to do nothing about it at all. Like listen to them speak. They don't care. They're like, no, what do you mean? That's not a thing here. It's fine. We can just raise taxes on everybody and then use the tax dollars to pay for people who've never paid darn taxes. What do you mean here, guys? That's basically what. Okay, so if that's the case, now I think I kind of understand why Trump did it, because they're going to 100% consistently go against everything. Now, but my overall opinion, specifically in terms of the LAPD being able to actually handle it themselves, that didn't change. They can handle it themselves, right? But they're not going to. Why would they? The people that voted them in want this. Seriously, guys, the people who voted, all of these people, the city officials in, they want this. There's no problem with it. Like they generally only have a problem with it. Let's say if something of theirs gets destroyed. Other than that, they don't care about public property. They don't even understand. I'm guessing what public and private means. I'm guessing in the context of the law. Let's say. But guys, you guys are wrecking your neighborhoods for what? For what? Not a single American flag's being flown. This is the most. This guys, I don't understand here. All right, I'm telling you, not a single American flag is being flown on the streets here, guys. But all right, listen, guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think. You guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly.